730 A.D., a mad poet would bring to life something unholy, something twisted, the Book of the Dead. We are taught that knowledge is power. We are taught that the pursuit of truth is the highest calling of the human race. We build libraries like cathedrals, and we treat the written word as a sacred vessel for our history and our soul. But there is a logic-defying truth that we often ignore. Not all knowledge is meant for us. In the world of cosmic horror, there exists a document that serves as a boundary, a manuscript that does not just describe the darkness, but invites it in. It is a book that has been whispered about in the corners of history, a book that has been burned, hidden, and denied by every major institution on Earth. They call it the Necronomicon. Tonight, we are treading into the literary darkness. We are looking past the pulp fiction myths and reaching into the original, sinister reality of the Book of the Dead. This is the story of a manuscript that is alive, and a truth that can melt the human mind like wax. Prepare yourself, because some books should never be opened. Welcome to the portal, where myths, nightmares, and mysteries are just one step away. My name is Epoch, and I will be your guide. To preserve the light, we must first face the dark. The history of the book begins with a man who looked too far into the sun. In the year 730 A.D., in the city of Damascus, a poet named Abdul al-Hazred completed a manuscript. He did not call it the Necronomicon, he called it al-Azif. In Arabic, al-Azif refers to the nocturnal sound of insects, but the desert dwellers believed this static of the night was actually the howling of demons. Al-Hazred spent 10 years alone in the great southern desert of Arabia, the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter. He claimed to have discovered the ruins of a city that was not built by human hands, a place of cyclopean stone where the laws of geometry were wrong. In the silence of the desert, Al-Hazred listened to the howling and translated it into text. He documented the history of the great old ones, entities like Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth, who ruled the earth millions of years before the first man was born. The fate of the author is the first warning. It is recorded that Al-Hazred was seized by an invisible monster in broad daylight in a crowded marketplace and devoured in front of 1,000 witnesses. He had correlated too much knowledge, and the system of reality decided to delete him. If you have watched this far, remember to subscribe, like, and comment what would you like to see next. What is actually inside the Necronomicon? Most people think it is a book of spells, but to the clinical mind, it is something far more dangerous. It is a technical manual for the destruction of reality. The book is divided into sections that describe the true geography of the universe. It speaks of the outside, a realm that exists beyond our 3 dimensions. It provides the frequencies and the mathematical vibrations required to thin the veil between our world and the void. In the lore, the book is often described as being bound in human skin. While this was a later addition by other writers, the original dread is more subtle. The paper itself is wrong. It is said to be cold to the touch, even in a warm room. The ink is a biological fluid that never truly dries. When a person reads the Necronomicon, they are not just absorbing information, they are being processed. The static of the book's forbidden truths creates a psychic pressure. It begins to rewrite the reader's neural pathways. This is the source of the madness associated with the text. Your brain is not built to hold the geometry of the great old ones. To understand the book, you must first lose your humanity. You must become a hollow shell, a vessel for the thoughts of something that existed before the stars. Despite the government denials, the Necronomicon exists. But you will not find it in your local library. There are only a handful of verified copies remaining. Most are kept in the special collections of institutions that understand the danger. The Miskatonic University in Arkham, the British Museum, the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. These institutions do not keep the book for research, they keep it for containment. It is said that these copies are kept under heavy guard, often in rooms lined with lead or salt, and under the watch of librarians who have been vetted for their psychological stability. They know that the book has a particular scent. It does not smell like old paper. It smells like ancient rot, dust, and ozone. There are reports of anomalous events occurring near these copies, sudden drops in temperature, the total silence in the stacks, the feeling of being watched by a mountain-sized entity even when you are alone in the archives. Some claim the book talks in the static, that it whispers the secrets of the sunken city to anyone who lingers too long in the room. This is the infection of the archive. The book is trying to find its way into the mainstream consciousness. In our modern world, we have moved the archive into the digital realm. There are those who claim to have found PDF versions of the Necronomicon on the dark web. They think they are safe because the information is just pixels. But they forget the lesson of Nyarlathotep. The crawling chaos loves the electronic static. The mathematical truths of the Necronomicon do not care about the medium, whether it is written on parchment, human skin, or a hard drive. The information is a malignancy. The data itself is a ritual. To even download the truth is to invite terror into your personal reality. We see the evidence of the Necronomicon in our world today. The obsession with forbidden history, the collective madness of internet forums, the search for the signal that ends in tragedy. We think we are exploring, but we are actually summoning. Every time we correlate dissociated knowledge, we are turning the page of a book that was never meant for us. We are the prey, just infants playing with something they do not understand, and with beings that go beyond our reality. The Necronomicon is more than just a book, it is a gateway. We tread in the darkness of this lore to remind ourselves that some truths are better left buried in the sand of the empty quarter. We think we want to know everything. We think our ego can handle the scale of the universe. But the sleeper is dreaming, and his diary is still being written. If you are ever in an old library, and the sensation of total silence takes hold, and you find a book that feels colder than the rest, do not open it. Do not look at the illustrations, and whatever you do, do not read the words aloud. Because the static of the night, the Azif, is always listening. Thank you for treading in the shadows with me today. If you found this deep dive into the Book of the Dead important, subscribe and join our community. We mentioned Nyarlathotep on this video, so prepare yourself for our next voyage, where we meet the crawling chaos. Good night, and keep your mind to yourself.
Let us now step back into the portal and go to our segment of time and space. If you would like to see a longer video about what we went through today, or if you would like to see another specific video, leave it in the comments. Feel free to check any of our previous voyages on screen. My name was Epoch, and I will see you again on one side or the other. Farewell.